What is going on? Welcome back to Jiu-Jitsu Outlet. On this video, I'm going to share a little bit about the Jiu-Jitsu Outlet mission. So this episode is really for people who've been following this channel for a long time, been subscribed to the podcast for a long time, and have kind of been with us over the last year, because I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but we just had our 1 year anniversary a little while ago. At least on both YouTube and the podcast. We've been doing the podcast feed a little bit longer. The podcast has been on YouTube for just about a year, so I'd consider this the year anniversary, because once we started doing YouTube is really when this show started kind of taking off and getting a little bit more traction, because a lot of people are watching on YouTube these days. So thanks so much for being a subscriber, and thanks so much for watching. And if this is the first time that you're watching this video, go ahead and click subscribe and make sure that you never miss an episode, because we're dropping episodes a lot more often these days. So just wanted to share a little bit about what Jiu-Jitsu Outlet is trying to do and where the brand is going in the future and what's the purpose of all of this. We just opened the first Jiu-Jitsu Outlet location here at my hometown in Houston, Missouri, here in my front yard, hanging out in my garage, as Ty Lopez would say. I've been hanging out here doing jiu-jitsu 6 times a week, and we've got about 1,000 square feet of mat space. So the vision for this place is to basically turn it into a spot that combines training martial arts with also Airbnb. We actually have Airbnb guests staying here at my tiny house. I don't want to film it because I want to give them privacy, but there's Airbnb guests staying over in the different part of the yard. And we got the martial arts facility going, and we want to eventually combine this with kind of like a spa and have an area where you can do like the recovery center and have saunas and hot tubs and all that good stuff, like a good shower area and all that good stuff. And these sorts of facilities exist already over in Europe. So this is something that's already been, it's been shown to be popular overseas. And so no one over in Europe or Asia, at least from what I know, is combining the martial arts side of things with that. And I know that no one's also integrating Airbnb, where you can actually like stay at the facility, if that makes sense. We want to basically put these sorts of locations all over the world. So obviously we're starting here. If you've been out to this location, you know it's absolutely beautiful. We have the Little Piney River runs right through the backyard. So it's a really beautiful spot to hang out at and be in nature and chill out in a yoga hammock or something like that. So we want to add on a store. We want to add on a place where you can buy some of the apparel that we have, like the hoodies and the tank tops and the t-shirts like this one, because right now they're just on jiu-jitsuoutlet.com, but eventually we want to be able to sell it and have this be an actual store. The goal here, and what we're really trying to do, is put these sorts of locations all over the world, and eventually even in malls. The big kind of grand vision for this would be to have actually an entire mall that is just dedicated to this purpose. So there's so many malls right now that are not being used because a lot of people are doing their shopping online. And whenever you see a mall, you might be thinking like, what's the purpose of this thing? Because a lot of times they're empty, or at least they have nowhere near the amount of traffic that they used to have. And I grew up hanging out at the mall, like back before the internet was a thing, or back before social media was popular or anything like that. And the mall used to be packed. Like that was where I had my first couple of jobs, working at Zoomies and working at PacSun. And I really enjoyed doing that. Like it was a really fun atmosphere. And I really want to create that same sort of thing, but for the martial arts, but integrating the idea of having martial arts training there as well. I don't want to talk your ear off about all this stuff, but the reason I'm sharing this with you is just because if you're watching the show right now, we've only been at this about a year. What we're trying to do is unify jiu-jitsu. We're trying to get conversations going with everyone and start to kind of reprioritize what it is that jiu-jitsu is all about. Like it's not about trash talking. It's not about making money. It's about doing stuff that will help the world and ultimately make you a better person and be able to actually assist the world. So I want to really introduce more and more people to the martial arts through this model of making it more accessible, making it fun, making it a lot more easy to train, if that makes sense. So the training is still difficult, but there's all these other ways that we can introduce it to people that's not in such an esoteric way. 'Cause a lot of times it might feel a little intimidating for someone to go into an academy that's already really established and might have a lot of competitors, and it might be a little bit too much for them to go and take a class. Even a beginner's class can feel a bit intimidating. So with Jiu-Jitsu Outlet, we're trying to create something that's a little bit more walk-in friendly, and something where, again, there's kind of the element too of it being a relaxation center and a place that you go for the tough training and you go to for that aspect. But, after that's all done, we go and jump in the river and have a good time. So we want to try to integrate that community building element at every single Jiu-Jitsu Outlet location that we do. We have our first location open now. It's just going to keep getting better and better over time, and looking at adding more. So if you want to be a part of this, hit me up. If you want to support this in any way, let me know. But really, the best way you can support this idea and this whole vision is to just keep following the channel, subscribe, buy the apparel, support the store, and come train. So yeah, come train at our location, and hope to see you around.